Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest round of the JINX Super2 V8 Supercar Series, coming to you live from the Barcelona Circuit de Catalunya, the Formula One circuit here in Barcelona. And here with me to call all the action tonight, Dave Douglas, and a new addition to our commentary team here tonight as well, Matt Andrews. Welcome, guys.
Thanks,
Hey,
mate.
Ed,
Good to be back.
here.
Have,
Good to be the third wheel tonight.
yeah, sorry, Andrew. We've got to get used to it, but yeah, welcome,
Car
Andrew. And
037, green
we've
flag,
got
green
Matt.
a
flag.
top 10 shootout here for our folks at home tonight.
Yeah, one of the things we're getting used to, of course, Matt Andrews' first name. But of course, that's what happens when you never trust a guy who's actually got two first names.
Car
So
04 moves to the end of
make
pit
of
lane
that
and
what you
hold.
will. But of course, we're here with a little bit of a different format tonight. We've got a top 10 shootout happening because tonight, being an enduro round, there's a top 10 shootout. The first car we're actually seeing out on track, our 10th place driver in qualifying, Tyson McAvoy. He's rolling around at the moment, getting his tyres warmed up, looking to do his first qualifying lap, his only qualifying lap, because the top 10 are going to be set based upon the one-lap runs that they're able to produce here. So a lot of pressure and good chance for the grid to actually be mixed up in the front. Great, put together a great lap. You have the chance to start on pole, but make any little mistake at all, chances are you're going to be rolling out of the 10th spot, no matter how fast you are in theory. So something a little bit different for the drivers to deal with.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's always an exciting time for a driver in a shootout, having the track to yourself, got all the attention on you. So yeah, it's about minimising the mistakes and doing the best you can with the one lap and see where you pop out at the end.
This is where the nerves start to build when you do have all this attention on you. If you're not used to a top 10 shootout format, as you said, the mistakes can creep in, and you just feel like you need to push a little bit harder to prove yourself in front of everybody. So we'll see how the drivers go tonight.
Yeah, it's another skill set, isn't it? It's completely different dealing with that pressure of having all the eyes on you. Of course, these drivers as well know that these races are broadcast so that everybody has got the chance to see if they do a fantastic job or if they make an unfortunate error and just locking a wheel running wide, anything like that. We'll see what Tyson McAvoy is able to produce as he rounds the final corner, comes out onto the straight, hard hammer down up through the gears to start his flying lap.
He's not a bad steerer, old Tyson. He had a pretty good run last week, I believe. I think he was in the top 10. But I've known old two-step Tyson for a while now. We'll see what he's got. Turn one in, going deep. To get the apex, just gets it down there. And the runoff here, it's very, you'll be very light on the throttle all through this part, sort of high speed, low grip. And the car likes the push, but he's held it in nicely on that curve there. So he should get a good run up in the next turn.
It's an interesting track to see V8
Car
supercars on
04,
the Formula One
proceed on the
circuit,
warm-up lap.
but it looks like it'll be quite a fun track for the drivers in the V8 supercar tonight. Little long sweeping bends at this track, so interesting to see Tyson there. Really just making sure he's hitting those apexes, because anything outside the line around those long sweeping
Car
corners,
45 moves to the end of pit lane
Well,
and
we do have
hold.
a couple of tracks the V8 supercars run on in Australia, which have very similar sort of characteristics as far as those long sweeping bends that you mentioned. Of course, we've got Phillip Island, and we've also got the Bend now as well, which is very much built in that sort of mould. So V8 supercars don't always like those long sweeping turns so much. So it's a bit of a challenge for these guys trying to manage the tyres. It's got to be when you're following in behind a car, managing the aero as well. But we're just having a look at Tyson go round at the moment, and he is just he's hit most of his apexes. He probably could have run a little bit wider, used a bit more of the track on a couple of occasions, but it looks as though at the very least it's going to be a clean lap and a decent lap. So just to see what kind of time he comes up with. Of course, when we see the time pop up, we've got no idea whether it's going to be good enough or not, because he is the first of the 10 to run.
I can tell you right now, he's set in purple sectors though, because he's the only one out there. So he's going to go to the top here. But what sort of time does he come across with? It's a 1 minute 45.1.
there's our benchmark set. So we've now got it a low 45.1 for the drivers to beat. We'll see if that applies a bit of pressure on the drivers that are upcoming.
All right, so we're just going to actually have a quick chat to Tyson McAvoy. I believe our director's going to grab him in here for us to have a quick chat to and ask how his lap has actually gone. And while that's happening, we've got Michael Whiting waiting there at the end of the pit lane, ready to roll out himself. So, All right, I believe we've got Tyson McAvoy here. Just as we follow Darren Caldwell around to start his lap, we'll have a chat to Tyson. Tyson, how do you feel the lap went?
G'day boys. Yeah, I thought the lap was pretty good. Tied on turn 1 and made a little mistake, but apart from that, I feel like the lap was pretty strong. So
All right, well, that's good news at the very least that you're happy with it, because we don't actually know, you being the first one out, we don't actually know how that lap's going to stack up. So I guess for the rest of it, you're going to be sitting there watching intently to see where you wind up starting this race.
yeah, that's right, exactly. Good. I'm going to sit there and watch the other 9
Car
cars go out and do their
25
best.
completed the warm-up lap.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right, thanks a lot,
Tyson.
Tyson.
Car
I noticed
96 moves to the
Darren
end of pit
Caldwell
lane
in his
and
lap
hold.
using a far more curve, a lot of the green concrete compared to Tyson there. So we'll see how that stacks up in these first sectors.
He's gone purple in those first couple of sectors there, so I think he might be up on his time. We don't have splits for you live, but you can see on the overlay that he's purple at the moment. So I know Tyson did have a good finish to his lap, so we'll see if he can keep it up on Cowell here. We've got to get used to not having this hairpin here. I've never ran this layout, sorry, but usually the hairpins are the toughest corner on the track, but I've never run out there, so I don't know the line or anything out there, so I can't give you any tips on that, but it looks like he's done all right. So he's gone green, so it wasn't a purple sector for him, but he is still up. As he comes through the second last corner, he hits his marks on the apex there, right out onto the dribble strip there, and this is a tough one. Uses all the road and some, and the run to the line is a 1:45.1, which puts him. Just try to see on the. Puts. Oh, he didn't.
Actually, I think he might have invalidated there.
Yeah, it hasn't registered. I reckon he was on there too, so he must have had an off track there somewhere, and yeah, the lap's been invalidated.
We'll have a chat to Darren, see if he's invalidated, see where he might have gone wrong. He was quite aggressive on the curves. Darren, welcome up to the booth, mate. What happened there?
I just put half a tyre off on the exit. I was trying to play with the throttle too, so the tyres weren't warm enough and I was just pushing a bit too hard, I think.
Yeah, it's unlucky, mate. Looked like a good lap, but yeah, that's unfortunate for him.
Which corner was it, mate?
The one I'm coming up to now, this right-hander here. I'm not sure of the name of it, but
yeah, we noticed you were far more aggressive than Tyson running with the curves. It's unlucky. It looked like a good lap, and it would have put you even with Tyson. So I think you did a 45.1 in the end. So unlucky, mate. And we wish you all the best tonight.
Thank you. Cheers, boys.
Car 96 proceed on your warm-up lap.
So we've got Michael Whiting out there at the moment for the Fishy Motorsports in the ZB Commodore at the moment. His start of the lap seems to be pretty straightforward, nice and consistent, hitting his marks. I haven't noticed any off tracks. We obviously missed the one for Darren before, but so far so good.
Yeah, nicely presented car, the Fishy Motorsport car. Geez, aggressive there over the curving. Hope that's not an invalidated lap as well.
Yeah, you got to watch that on the exit. Yeah, definitely over those yellow speed humps, because he likes to get loose in the rear, just lifts them up and gets a bit of wheel spin underneath it once you land. But he's going green sectors at the moment on the screen, as you can see. But so I think Tyson at the moment has still got the purple sectors, but we'll see how this lap finishes off here.
As you said, Dave, the course is quite different to the normal course, and we come around this section here, which would normally be for the Formula One fans out there a chicane, but we pull right around the outside, which looks quite fun actually. We go through the last turn onto the main straight.
Yeah, definitely shows some time off it. So he's run to the flag. He's got way out there. Should be fine. He comes across the line and he posts 1:45.5. So he goes second for now, in behind Tyson.
Yeah, well,
if we can find him, and we'll drag him up for an interview and just have a chat with him. There he is. I'll bring him into the booth. Michael, Dave in the booth, mate. Pretty conservative lap, but nonetheless, it counts. And you're sitting P2 at the moment, mate. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to get a bit of temp in the tyres, to be honest. So just trying to get as much temp in the warm-up lap as possible. Still really understeery through some of the faster corners, but sort of not the greatest time in the world, but it's still top 10, so doing well.
Yeah, well, exactly right, mate. And that's the beauty of the top 10. You've got to do with what you've got, deal with what you've got. And yeah, as I said, it was a complete lap, and the time's on the board. We'll see how it stands after all the other boys are gone.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.
Actually just started here, so he's actually got a fairly decent run through 1 and 2, just nipping those apexes just as he has to, not too much but not too little, coming through 1 and 2, out through 3 now. He's going to want to run nice and wide on the exit there. Probably didn't take as much of the curve as he could have done, but of course you always run the risk of unsettling the car through that section, also taking too much curve.
Lane and hold.
Interesting to hear the drivers complaining of cold tyres on this hot lap. I mean, generally in these cars, at times it's almost your second flying lap that tends to be your quickest when the tyres are fully up to temperature. So I think a lot of these guys tonight will be complaining of cool tyres and not necessarily having the grip that they would expect for this hot lap.
At the start of the lap, definitely gets the tyres working, but yeah, said if the tyre temp's not there, it's going to induce the push.
Yeah, certainly, and I suppose it all comes down to the lap preparation as well. You know, you see a number of drivers accelerating hard, stabbing on the brakes, weaving the car from side to side, trying to get those tyres up to temperature and pressure to give themselves the best opportunity to get the most out of their one flying lap when it comes. But speaking of the flying lap, we're about to see a time coming from Bailey Bell. He's just rounding the old section, the final 2 corners of the old Formula 1 layout, as comes around through the fast final corner down the straight here. We're going to see what time he posts, and he's come up with a 1 of 44.857, so he's up there by nearly 3/10, isn't he?
He's done a really good lap on that, a really good job on that lap, I should say, and you can just see riding on board with him the drive out of that last turn. He absolutely nailed it. And I think we can get him up here and have a chat with him, Brady. Bailey, straight to the top, mate. Well done.
Yeah, no, that was a bit more surprising than I thought. I didn't think it was going to be that quick. I actually didn't look at any of the other times. I was just going straight off the bat, so I got to be happy with that. I mean, I'm not going to go any lower from here, so even if everyone else goes quicker, so it should be good.
Yeah, certainly, mate. And look like you got some good drive out of those turns, especially that last one onto the straight. You nailed that, which is good. That's Bailey for you guys. We'll continue on with our shootout. We're on board with Brody Scott at the moment, trying to set that time down.
Yeah, Brody Scott, teammates, of course, with Bailey Bell out there in the second of the Dripping Paints graphics Commodores, and he's you notice he's using a lot more curve on the outside of that particular corner there than did his teammate. Will that translate into extra speed? Well, we're not sure yet. He gets a little bit sideways coming out of that next one, just trying to get that throttle down as early as he possibly can. But of course, there's no point if the rear end tries to overtake the front, so he's certainly using every inch of the curves that he's got availability to do. And he's running fairly close to the line. Hopefully he doesn't wind up with an off track or anything like that, but he's certainly using all of the circuit available to him.
Yeah, he's pushing hard. It looks great. His car's quite squirmy compared to the drivers before him, which is good to see. He's given it absolutely everything. We'll see if it equates to a faster time than his teammate, as he's absolutely locked up the rear brakes, heading into the hairpin there. Disappointing for Brody. That's going to pop him into currently 4th if he finished his lap. Hopefully it wasn't invalidation.
If this is
unfortunately, invalid, and you can see he has a purple sector up on the screen there on the overlay down the bottom there, so he was definitely pushing hard.
Well, I mean, if this was 1994, he would have been on the perfect track there, because of course they used to use that. They used to use that particular corner down there, but they have squared it off since. So unfortunately for him, that lap is not going to be very good.
I believe we've got him in the line if one of you boys want to do the honours.
Brody, mate, Matt here up in the booth. Unlucky, mate, you were setting purple sectors. You're really giving it some, and in the end, the rear brakes didn't want to come to the party.
Exactly, mate. I just braked a little bit too late. I thought I could gain even a little bit more there, and yeah, lost it. Bugger.
It's unlucky, mate. You're on for a good lap, but night's not over. You'll be well and truly inside the top 10, and well, in the top 10 at least. And I'm sure we'll see you give it your all tonight, and we wish you all the luck this evening.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, definitely. It's a long race, so we'll see how we go.
Head down, and we'll see you at the finish.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Brody.
All right, so we've got Daniel Hederscheid just starting his flying lap at the moment. He's coming around with that Sinfinity, a brightly coloured Mustang. You can't miss it. And just started heading down towards turn 1, so he's very late on the brakes. Diagonal sort of entry, almost a shallow kind of entry there, which a lot of the drivers haven't favoured so far, but he seems to be taking a little bit shallower line very smoothly through 1 and 2 and now 3, just holding. He may have just wanted to get off the brakes a little bit earlier there just compared to the others, but we'll have a look at his sector time when it comes in, but he certainly seems to be hustling that Mustang, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like he had a bit of a dab at the brake there just to try and bring the front round. As I said, tyre temps is what we've been talking about. The push to that turn. So a little dab at the brakes, trying to bring that front round a bit, but we'll see how the rest of the lap goes.
Good to see a Mustang. I think this is our first Mustang of the evening, so good to see a Ford out there, even though I'm a Holden man myself. But it's good to see Mustang looking very good, and he's pushing really hard.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
see where he goes. Yeah, it looks beautiful. We'll see how he goes again. Geez, loses the rear end a bit on the exit, coming out of that corner. He's giving it his all.
Well, he's not going to die wondering, is he? He's certainly running that thing absolutely to the ragged edge, which is what the top 10 shootout is all about. Getting it all on the line for that one lap, all or nothing. And certainly giving his all at the moment is Daniel. So he's just clipping that apex nice and late there as he comes into these last 2 turns. A little bit taily up there on the exit curb there. Just probably has to modulate the throttle a little bit to stop the swapping ends on him. Right out against that yellow sausage curb, and now he's coming into the final turn. And we're going to see what kind of lap he's been able to put down. Hard on the throttle, up through the gears, leaving nothing down there now. And he has gone P2 at 1:45.022, and that's a very solid time, still 2/10 shy of Bailey Bell, but ahead of everybody else. So Daniel Hederscheid sitting in P2 at the moment. How did that lap look from your perspective?
Yeah, we might not got him there. A few technical issues, that's all right. We've got James Rubold out there who's just actually come back on from the dirt, so he's had a bit of an issue on his warm-up lap. So hopefully he gets that sorted out, and he'll start his next lap.
Daniel Hederscheid, P2 at the moment. How'd that lap go? About as well as last time, from the sounds of it. So we'll jump back on with James Rubold anyway and follow him through for his lap. So he's actually starting his flying lap right now and up through the gears. He'll be in top gear at the moment. A foot hard against the firewall and just stabs on the brakes there, bringing a ton and a half of race car right down into the appropriate speed for turn 1 at 2, swinging it into 3. Back end just steps out just that little bit, right on the limit of adhesion, while he tries to carry as much pace as possible, slingshot himself out onto the next section of track before a hard brake down into the next right-hander.
He was definitely aggressive in turn 1 there. He took a lot of curve there. It would almost be an off track, but I think he might have just got away with it there, so he's having a red hot crack.
He certainly is, as he's used all the track and a little bit more on the exit corner, coming in through a little bit of a left-right section here. Doesn't use too much of the inside curve as other drivers. Right up against the yellow sausage, looking like a clean lap here for James.
Yeah, it was a beautiful line through that last complex, wasn't it? And now as he comes up to actually, he's just coming up to around about halfway through the pass. But another heavy braking point here. You'll see the front of that Mustang drop. There it goes as he stabs on the brakes there and runs right around that left-hander there. And now he's only got a couple more turns to the end of this lap now. He's on for a good one, I think. What are his sector times looking like?
Certainly, mate. He's got purple sectors all across the board at the moment, so he's definitely bringing the neck out of it.
This is fantastic from James.
And onto the final corner, onto the front straight here. He should go to the top here if nothing else fails. And he doesn't. His lap was invalid.
Validated.
Oh,
Oh,
I had a
no.
feeling he meant, I don't know if it was turn one or the little
James.
sweeper up the top of the track there, but yeah, it definitely looked like he got a bit wide there, and I reckon it might have been a
And
drag him in and
Yeah, have a chat to him.
find out. James, super lap, mate, but unfortunately there was an off track there at some point. Where was that, mate?
Yeah, unfortunately, went a bit wide on the right-hand sweep out the back. But anyway, we'll push on.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I caught it live, and I thought you might have just got away with it because only a little bit more when you actually get a slow down there too. So unlucky, mate, because I think that was definitely on for a top spot there, but we didn't actually get to see it. But yeah, unlucky, mate. You're the soldier on top 10. The night's not over yet.
Yeah, that's it. We'll push on in the race and try and make up a few spots.
Perfect. Thanks, James.
Boys.
He's a bit unlucky there. He almost ended up.
Oh,
Really?
sorry to cut you off. Simon Chadwick just starting his flying lap, and he's nearly looped it at turn one. So we're seeing a lot of invalidated laps, a lot of mistakes tonight. The pressure of the top 10 shootout really getting to people.
Although he may get away with that one, he didn't have a full spin, so as long as he didn't go off the track there and didn't get a lost control, he may be able to validate his lap. It'll make him 2 spots if he finishes it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to
car
see how it pops up.
675, proceed on warm-up lap.
I think you're right, guys. The combination of the cold tyres on with the pressure.
Car
I don't think a lot of these
660
guys
to
being
the
at
end
Dev
of pit lane
Series
and hold.
have done too many top 10 shootouts, and it's catching a few of them out.
Yeah, certainly is. But like Dave correctly points out, there's been more than a couple of guys with invalidated laps so far. So Chadwick has, just by dint of actually finishing this lap, has got the ability to gain himself a couple of good spots there. So and not start way down there in 10th position. He'll be able to start a couple of positions higher than that if he manages to keep a nice clean lap from here on out.
Well, that's right, man. He slots into 5th with 3 drivers to go. So definitely worthwhile finishing. He just wants to keep it clean here. He's squirmy even coming out of that corner there, even though he's just got to finish this lap. So he's definitely still giving it some, which is good to see.
Yeah, the rear tyres are going to be hot, aren't they, from that particular slide there, and they probably haven't been given too much of a chance to cool down, so probably struggling a little bit for that rear end grip. Uses a lot of curb on the exit of the final turn. Hard down there, and he's actually gone from there to, as you say, 5th position. Yep. So as predicted, and might grab him up for a very quick chat before we move on to the next driver. As we don't have Simon, so
unfortunately.
We do have Josh Morgan though on track, and he's just finishing his warm-up lap at the moment in that Fishy Motorsports Mustang, coming around the last couple of corners. And of course, in that first warm-up lap on a top 10 shootout is all about tyre preparation, isn't it? So they would have put a lot of work into using the previous few miles of track to just get their tyres into the optimal window to start this qualifying lap.
Certainly, he's up on the curb there to start his lap, so it's going to give him a good run down here. So crucial because it's a very long front straight here, and then hard deep on the brakes down the turn here. We'll see if he can hit the apex and get pulled up.
Well, we're starting to end the business end now of our drivers in the top 10. These are the guys that set the 3-4 fastest times in qualifying. So this is when we should see the cream rise to the top, so to speak, in a beautiful first sector by Josh as that car just wants to push. He's lost a bit of time there, wide line. That's not what you're after, Josh. That cold tyres really pushing that car.
Yeah, he was beautiful through 1 and 2, wasn't he? But he's just had to run a little bit wide there. There seems to be a lot of pushing that car. We see it again as he just tries to break down there. So I'm not sure he's going to be overly happy with this lap so far. He gets the apex nicely there, though. Perhaps just has to be a little bit more judicious on the throttle. Easier to say from up here than obviously being in the seat of that particular Mustang at the moment. But yeah, he's definitely doing his best. A little bit wide there too. So what kind of sector times is he putting in?
He's got green sectors at the moment, so not the fastest out there, but they're still consistent. But that's maybe an off track there. It might be the same mistake that James Druott did just a minute ago.
Jeez, he's on the absolute ragged edge. I hope that's not invalidation. Does it come up on our screen? Do we know if it's invalidation?
No, unfortunately, we're only going to get that when they cross the line, but you can see the push in his car evidently through the wheels. You can physically see it in the earliest part of his lap. So he's having a good old go, but yeah, definitely got a bit of understeer at the moment that he's battling with.
The understeer is massive. It might just be a matter of pushing maybe a little bit too hard as well as he comes down the main straight. We'll see what he can do. Josh Morgan with a
invalidated lap. Unfortunately, no lap time registered there.
Wow, boys. What a top 10 shootout.
Yes,
This is what
Very
we
easy to do. Very easy to do up there because it's almost off camber going over the rise, and it's hard to keep it in there. You've got to really back your corner up there and take as much curve on the inside, and then because you need to get back onto the throttle as fast as you can. But very easy to run wide there, unfortunately.
Do we have Josh?
Do we have Josh?
Josh, we might have Josh. Yes,
we do have another Josh. We do have another Josh out there just starting his lap at the moment. So do we have Josh Morgan?
Right. Did confuse me a bit.
How are you guys?
We do have Josh Morgan. Josh Morgan, welcome to the Combox here. Well done on that lap. Unfortunately, it looks as though you may have got a quick off track there, which has then unfortunately invalidated your time. Is that correct?
That's correct. A little bit greedy on the exit of that coming into that straight, but
a few drivers have done that.
Yeah, it happens unfortunately, but yeah, not much we can do about it now.
Yeah, so long race. Obviously, your approach probably to going a few positions early. Is that what you're going to be looking at?
Yeah, we'll see how we go. The objective tonight's really just to try and run a clean race and stay out of trouble and see what we can do and just move through the field steady.
All right, fantastic. Well, good luck with all of that. So thank you, Josh Morgan. Unfortunately, unable to get a lap time down, but he's certainly not alone in that. We're seeing quite a few little issues for a few guys tonight, but Josh Thomas looks as though he's on a clean lap so far. He's
for the past couple of weeks actually, and he's gone purple in the first sector, so he's the fast guy at the moment in this series, and I'm not sure if he's our championship leader at the moment. I know he had a bad race last week. Oh, he's gone very wide there. Don't know if that's going to be an off track or not, but we'll push on with the lap. But yeah, he's definitely having a good crack.
Yeah, we've got to see if someone can knock Bailey Bell off the top spot. He sat there for a very long time. Josh, who's been a quick guy in the series, is pretty keen. Really good tidy lap so far. Again, a little bit of understeer, but that's understandable with the tyre temps. And we'll see if the second Josh at the Fishy Motorsport team can... yeah, he's just one of these cars, just so much understeer through the corners as we watch him come through the last couple of corners to finish his lap.
Well, we talked earlier on about V8 supercars and the way that they handle through these long, fast sweepers, don't they? So, yeah, we'll see what he's able to accomplish. I haven't really seen anything so far. It may suggest that he's...
yeah,
there we go. What a split!
He smashed it.
0.6 of a second.
Bang. See that on the purple sectors there. So it was only that sort of issue where if he took too much...
Take a flag, take a flag. Well done, Josh. Rest will be up for you, right?
Absolutely.
Josh, another pole position for you, mate. You nailed that lap, mate. We thought you might have took a bit too much curve down the bottom in that hill section, but yeah, to the top, mate. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. It would be easy that lap, but one second drop down quickly.
Yeah, well done, Josh. You've got pole by 6/10, mate. So that holds you in good stead for the race. Looks like you've got good pace this evening. How's the race car feel as opposed to the qualifying car?
Right, the one that that race day, so one is good, but yeah, not up to
Good luck tonight, mate. We'll see what you can do from the top spot in the upcoming race.
All right, well, that's unqualified, wasn't it? Top 10 shootout, something new for this series, and certainly a very welcome addition to this longer race format that we've got here coming up at Barcelona. So I believe from here, I think I'm correct in saying that the grid will be set. We'll depart you for a little moment, and we'll be able to come back with the race field for you. Of course, we're going to have a full field of cars there ready to take part in this race, not just, of course, our top 10, but a full field of drivers hungry to make the impression on the drivers ahead of them. So stick with us, and I believe we will be back shortly. All right, so we're back, guys. The race session is up and your full grid is out here on the track right now. Just getting those last minute pieces of practice in, although just sussing out the corners, the weather, the levels of grip that they've got ready for the start of this race. It's going to be 30 laps here, or 1 hour and 45 minutes to pick. Could go time certain. Soon, in around about 3 minutes time, we're going to be in the position to put all the cars on the grid and give you a rundown of where everybody is starting. We know our top 10 already, but there's a number of positions behind those guys that we're going to want to be focusing on, because those guys, of course, are going to be wanting to be breaking into that top 10 where they missed out on the shootout, unfortunately. So number of drivers out there at the moment. Looking forward to this one. It's going to be a long race. Strategy is going to come into play. Speed's going to come into play. And of course, you can't beat yourself by making mistakes. So looking forward to this one. Should be a good one. And we'll see how it plays out. So Matt, what are you looking forward to in particular?
Yeah, hey Ed. Hey everyone at home. Good to be here, and my first night in the box in the V8s. What am I looking forward to? I'm like the viewers at home, looking forward to a bit of carnage, to be quite honest. But I'm also looking forward to some good overtaking, some good battles. I mean, we've got some of your best up and coming V8 drivers in Australia and New Zealand racing tonight. So looking out for those that really stick out as being future champions of some pro divisions going. As we saw in the top 10 shootout, there's one or two that definitely look pretty hard to beat tonight. Yeah, should be a good race, good track. No better place to be with the vice around as well than sitting back and having a beverage and watching some guys go hard at it in Spain.
And of course, we've had a popular segment which has been repeated throughout the championship so far. And tonight is no different. This is our track trivia, where I pose you guys a question and basically add there in the comments whether you think you actually know the answer, and of course my co-commentators take a stab at it as well. It's what we do for you, Matt, but Dave's well versed in it. So tonight's track trivia is this: 1994, the Spanish Grand Prix took place. It took place with a number of safety improvements to the track after the tragedy of Imola earlier on in that year. And there were two remarkable things about that race. First of all, about Damon's first place, and second of all, about Michael Schumacher's second place in that race. And what were the notable facts about both that first and second place in the 1994 Barcelona Grand Prix?
Are we answering the questions for the people?
Well, you have a crack, but I don't tell you the answer until the end.
1998. Yeah, that's very, that's a good one. You got me again. Well done.
Damon Hill replaced Senna at Williams after Senna's death. There's my rack.
He did
Okay, there you go.
David Coulthard replaced him. So. David was there from the start of 93.
Well, yeah, I'm out. Dave, over to you.
Alright, well, we'll come back to that later on, because the V8 supercars running around at the moment. But if anybody knows what the momentous occasion was for the Williams team, and of course the remarkable thing about Michael Schumacher's second place in that race, leave it there in the comments and you'll be able to check at the end of the race. You got bragging rights if you actually got that right, because there are a couple of interesting facts to know about both of those particular occurrences and positions. But anyway, we're getting to the end of practice now. We're going to have a chance to run through our starting grid, and we're going to have to be very quick because the start of the race is not too far away. So the car's gridding up at the moment. I'm going to run you through the grid very, very quickly. So pole position, Josh Thomas, Bailey Bell, second place, Daniel Hederscheit in third, Tyson McAvoy fourth. Then Michael Whiting, Simon Chadwick, Josh Morgan down there in seventh, Darren Caldwell, Brodie Scott, James Ruwalt, Jamie Davis starting out of position 11, Thomas Cool up there in 12th.
All right, gentlemen.
John Schultz Fields
welcome
13th, Chris
to
Barnes
race
14th,
4.
Wade Michael,
The
Paul
Jinx.
Warwick, Alex Court,
Same
Michael
rules
Stewart,
apply as always.
Jonathan
Let's keep
Ben,
it nice and
and
tidy.
Aaron Gilbert. That
Going
is your top
into
20.
turn
And then
1.
we've got Chris Kerr, Muddy
Above all,
Hanson,
let's keep it
Matthew
clean.
Kidd,
Have fun.
David
Good luck,
Coleman,
guys.
Kai
Again, race
Slobbert,
chat to
Mark Duggan,
absolute minimum
Tim
this week.
Crowley, Tony Clark,
Good luck,
Scott
gentlemen.
McCune, and Tony Gaffer. They are your top 30. And then running through, we've got Samuel Kerr, Tim Mulford, Joseph Daly, Alexander Newton, Stephen Black, Jason DiPotato, Ben Morris. That rounds out your field of 37 drivers ready to start this one.
Well done, mate. Had to get through that. We're 5 seconds away from
Yeah.
being flag here.
There's so many guys taking part. It's been such a popular series, hasn't it? But we're just about ready to go. Revs are going to be rising. The drivers are there, focusing on getting the perfect getaway. And we will be racing. All right, so we're away. Joshua Thomas didn't get the race started. It's extremely well on the inside. There's some carnage going on at the back. But looks as though Baby Bell is going to be able to shove that Commodore right down into turn 1 to get the inside line. Josh Thomas trying to sweep around the outside. He's going to have the inside line in turn 2. Just managed to make contact with Baby Bell. That's going to lead Daniel Hederscheid. Daniel Hederscheid's been turned by Baby Bell there on the inside. So Daniel Hederscheid out of this one really, really early on. And Tyson McAvoy's going to scoop up that third position as they all go filing down into
Safety car board is flat. Safety car board is flat. Safety car hold position.
Position third into this race. We're going to want safety cars. Safety cars out.
Definitely contact obviously there, and fortunately it's had a shit into the fence hard.
I'm surprised it's got the safety car though. It didn't seem to be that big an incident to warrant a safety car, but either way, that's what they've decided to do. I did see a little bit more carnage in the back of the pack as well, so it could have something to do with that also, I guess.
But no better start for Josh Thomas. There's a bit of pressure going down to turn 1. We saw Hederscheid having a look up the inside as well, and yeah, there's all going on there. And I think Tyson nearly actually looked at the back of him, but they managed to squeak through there. But then slight touch between Bell and Thomas there, and put Bell wide, and it gave Hederscheid a chance to get up on the outside of him there.
Race control car 35.
So Hederscheid on the fence.
Yeah, we've actually had 2 cars that failed to get away off the start line.
Please review turn 2 at the start.
Have actually failed to move away off the start map. All that issue back there in the pack, and there was cars rear-ending each other.
Car 47.
Spinning around. There's a
Car
lot of cars
47,
out there
go ahead.
carrying a lot of damage right now.
West
Morris,
47, yep,
a
hold.
lot of number of cars there. I think Hugh might be involved in that as well. So that, yeah, a lot of guys put out.
We're not going to replay of that, but yeah, obviously something back there. Looks like someone may have stalled possibly, and yeah, on this grid here, it's pretty easy to get caught out, especially with the long run down the front straight. You get a fair bit of speed build up depending on where the car started.
Yeah, just having a look in the backfield, Darren Caldwell bogged it off the line, bit of a stall, and it was a bit of a nudge from behind, which caused a lot of chaos. And to give the drivers in the mid-pack a bit of credit, after they're all bunched up off the chaos, it was actually quite clean through turns 1, 2, and 3. There's a shame there for Hederscheid that he was cleaned up. It was just the understeer through that corner that caused the incident there.
Just confirmation on his toe.
And it's unlucky because he looked like one that was going to threaten for the victory this evening.
Yeah, he certainly did, didn't he? He's been fast in every race so far this season, but he's certainly got a power of work to do now. He's carrying a fair bit of damage down the right-hand side of that Sinfinity Mustang, but at the same time, it's straight, it's running. And I'm sure he's going to have the opportunity at the very least to try and fight his way through and have a little bit of fun overtaking a few of the other drivers. We've actually got a driver who's run off the track under safety car as well. I think that's actually Ben Morris there who's run out into the gravel. He'll get the chance to regain his position, but if we have a look even further up, Alex Court running around with a completely busted up looking Commodore. He's missing his bonnet, he's missing his boot as well. No rear spoiler on that car at all, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming down the pit lane for a little bit of repairs, because he would not want to carry on like that at all.
Just while all that's going on, we've just heard from race control that Bailey Bell has been given a drive-through for that incident to turn 2. So unfortunately, he's going to be making a trip down the pit lane here once we go green, and Tyson's going to be thinking the world's being given to him, so he's going to be running second. So we'll see if Tyson can have anything for Thomas out front. But the guy I want to keep an eye on is James Ruop, who has lost a spot after the start. He's back in 11th, but I'm keen to see how he manages to get through the field tonight.
Yeah, I just want to go back and have a quick look at that incident myself, just between Bell and Heddershide, because
I feel a bit sorry for Bell because
he looked very side by side.
He just got a little bit of understeer and just drifted a tad over, and it was just a slight knock front right to rear, front left, sorry, to rear right wheel, and it just shot Heddershide off the circuit.
Yeah, I mean it's clear as well. I mean coming into turn 2, I believe it was, Heddershide's kind of put his nose in there. Bell's seen him at the last second and jinked to the outside to avoid making contact, and only to make contact in the next turn. So that's unfortunate for him. It looked like he was trying to be cautious and correct, but hey, if you turn someone, you turn someone, and those are the rules of the game.
Well, that's it. It's contact and it's put him in the fence. But just look at these cars at the front here. They must have had a sale on front green fenders or something recently, because all these cars have got the front green fenders.
They all look like they're in the same team. I feel so for Brody Scott there, the sandwich in the black and green livery world. But,
no weaving.
Nice on Brody Scott. Tyson McAvoy.
Yeah, it's almost as though they want to just play jokes with us commentators, isn't it? You know, painting their cars so similarly, and of course we've got all those Commodores there running up the front as well. And of course, once they get to a Mustang, we've got Josh Morgan there, and he's running the same paint, so it makes it a little bit difficult for all of us guys. So, but we will deal with it as we always do. We're a professional group here at SimShed Broadcasting, aren't we?
Very, very professional.
Serious, very serious.
Very serious.
We've got Tyson repping the red wheels out there. So as I said, Bailey's going to peel off here, probably under the next roll. I think the safety car's going to come in this lap, but we'll get to find out, as I heard from race control. But Tyson will take up second, and yeah, as I said, Tyson, I know he's pretty quick. He had a good run last week, so we'll see if he's got anything to go with Thomas, and we'll see if the guys behind can go with him.
Certainly. So, yeah, we've got those Commodores all there in a line at the front of the field. I wouldn't be surprised, as you say, Dave, to see the pace car coming in at the end of this lap. There's certainly, you wouldn't say, any further clean-up or recovery to be done. So, I believe that for the dripping paints, paints and virtual motorsport mentor pace car
driven by Craig Schultz tonight. And
come on, guys.
Putting around at 100 clicks. Don't know if the drivers would be too happy with that speed. If it was Lewis Hamilton behind, he'd be on the radio absolutely losing his head because his tyres be going cold. Lights out.
Hamilton definitely going back to green.
So.
Alright, now Josh takes control of the field.
Sorry, they obviously mimic the same rule as the supercar, so there's no weaving once you're out. Obviously, if you get caught, they will, obviously you're going to come down pit lane, but we're about to go green here. I think the safety car line is halfway through this turn, and you can go from here all the way up until the start line now. Josh Thomas is controlling the field. When's he going to go? He's going to hold him up, which is a good idea. Now he goes, and he gets a good jump. Bailey's gone with him,
green flag.
But he's got the penalty hanging over his head.
And he hasn't decided to serve that penalty. I don't know, can you serve the penalty behind a safety car? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have to be under the green flag conditions, unfortunately.
Yeah, I imagine though that if he's allowed to, it may have been a better idea to pull in behind the safety car and maybe take him at that stage because everyone's not up to speed. But in any event, he's still got that to serve. It's a shame because he's actually got away on a fairly good restart there, keeping with Josh Thomas quite well. And once he peels off into the pits, the gap back from Thomas, he's going to enjoy a fairly healthy margin, you would think, back to Tyson McAvoy there in third place.
Tyson has a big moment, almost taken out going into the next corner by Michael Whiting. McAvoy's finding the tyres really struggling at the rear end. He's there corner.
It looks as though James Ruwalt may have actually gone off. He's gone off the track there. So that's unfortunate for him. He's dropped a number of positions. Go back and have a very quick look at that and see what's actually taking place. Looks as though he was just sticking to the inside, trying to get the move done, and unfortunately has kind of clattered into the 27 and and almost spun himself. So that's a little bit clumsy there, unfortunately, for Grewald. He's
Wait,
not really
redress.
overly pleased with himself, I don't think. But it's an enduro, plenty of time for him to get up there and recover.
Yeah, that's true. It's just obviously being pinched there, and yeah, sometimes when you make contact, it just flicks the rear around on itself, basically. But yeah, we
He's
can
just had another contact, Ori. Sorry to talk over the top
You're
here,
right.
but he's just had another contact with Jason DiMatteo as he tried to make the move on him. They got door to door, and yeah, so that's a little bit more damage on the side of both of those Mustangs, unfortunately.
Well, done the proper and put the commentator's curse straight on him. So sorry about that, James, mate. But we got a good battle here. We got Davis and the guys behind him, all battling 3 wide down into turn 1 here behind White. So we've got Tyson's grip at the moment. Davis said, here's the battle we're after here, and this looks feisty.
Yeah, Morgan's just made a couple of moves there to force his way into 4th position. So good work there from Josh, and he'll work his way up now. And a really cool battle going down into turn 1.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of a locked break, haven't we, from the car just there in behind Jamie Davis is Brodie Scott in that Dripping Paints Graphics Commodore. But the other thing that we need to keep an eye on as well is remembering what the last few races of the series have shown, and that is the pack tends to break up into these brilliant little battles all over the place, all up and down the order. So it's got to be another one of those races, I think, we're almost struggling to know where to look because of all the action going on the track. But we're going to cover it as well as we possibly can. But already we can see the drivers just these little battle packs forming, these little swarms of cars, each trying to make up as many positions as possible. I wonder how strategically, given the fact that we've actually got enduro on, how strategically each of these drivers are thinking.
It's a fishy car off the road. Who it was?
Please review that.
Just trying to catch a replay there. A fishy motorsports car.
Meantime, the housekeeping. So Chris Barnes has also received a lane driver penalty, and Tim Crowley for incidents so far in this race.
Yeah, race control dropping the hammer as they're obliged to do. They're up there enforcing the rules of the series to make sure that everything is done in the fairest possible way, and that no one's getting disadvantaged by any little incidents that shouldn't really be their fault. So just looking back to the front, we've got Joshua Thomas. He's out there. He's got a 4.3 second lead. We said he was going to have a handy lead, didn't we? After that penalty was served from second place Baby Bell, who has served that penalty, and now he's 4.3 seconds ahead of his teammate Michael White. Tyson McAvoy still sitting there in 3rd position with Joshua Morgan and Jamie Davis racing there with him. So that is your top 5 as things stand.
So just about to mention, Josh Morgan is coming, and he's dragging a few other cars with him at the moment. So that's he's up 2 spots from where he started, and he's in a nice battle with the Fishy Motorsports cars and one of those other green fettered cars at the front there. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's the Pacific guys who are battling there with the green cars. So it's going to rage on here. We've got Paul Warwick on screen, who's a lot of pressure on Shalman Chadwick at the moment. He's going to have a look down the inside here. He shows the nose and he commits to it. He commits. Well, to pull that up and not make contact with Chadwick in front of him, but I'm not sure if Chadwick knew what was going on there, but he was about to find out. So now that's put.
Well, we've just had. Who was it actually put around? It was John Schultz, who's actually just been brushed aside by Simon Chadwick. He's got his nose right up there. Brushed him aside. I'm not sure if race control are going to consider that fair or not, but certainly he's got the position for the time being. But Jonathan Ben getting a run on Paul Warwick, isn't he? He's got this excellent run out of the last turn, and he's got to run side by side down into turn 1. We've got a car coming with him as well. That's Thomas Cooley. Great mate. One of those corners where you can actually hang around the outside. Then he's got the inside for the next one. Jonathan Ben's now been turned around.
Oh, no. Those drivers are going to be close to making contact there. Gets away with it, I think.
Yeah, he did get collected, but I tell you what, race control's going to be busy, aren't they? So, fantastic job anyway to them from race control.
Warwick's ran wide, and then maybe he didn't give enough room, but I'm not. Yeah, obviously the car on the inside has made the contact, but yeah, it's very tight. And it's going to be hard to fall on that one.
And just further. just further back, Joseph Daly was turned around in the Fishy Motorsport car back as well. There's just, as I said at the start of the race, absolute carnage all over the place. A lot of cars getting turned around, a lot of apexes just becoming very, very tight all of a sudden on a number of drivers where they think they've got enough room for a move, but they don't. Obviously, we all know in these cars, in supercars, just so hard to overtake, and when you stick the nose up there, the apex will shut extremely quickly, and that's when we see a lot of cars getting turned around.
And almost as if to pay tribute to the amount of incidents we've seen, we've got a number of cars getting around out there with bent bodywork already. And keeping in mind this is a 30-lap race, we are on lap 7. We're not even a third of the way through this race yet. There are drivers already nursing damage and trying to, nurse these damaged cars around. But no such problems for Josh Thomas out the front. He is just stroking away 5.9 second lead now. Pretty ominous.
He seems to be in a different class there, Josh Thomas. Just we saw it in the top 10 shootout, 6/10 faster than second place, and to have a 6-second lead after only 8 laps is testament to his ability of being a quick driver in this championship.
And if you're keeping track of James Rimmel, he's sitting 20th at the moment, so he's on a recovery mission at the moment. So lap 8, 20th position. We'll see where he ends up at lap 30. I think he's got a little bit of a part to play in this one yet. He's got a few cars right in front of him, actually, so he's going to have fun, but yeah, he'll be ruining it. And someone's going for a big dive in the background. I think that's maybe Ben Morris on course. He goes too wide. He actually drove right now. You can see it in the background there. He's in the sand, so
Car 019 and car 027, no further action.
Just going to get a replay up here. So we've got Kai Sloggett in the MFR car, Commodore in front of him, and the Mustang behind, 43 of Ben Morris, who just throws it up the inside. Oh, they made contact. So it was the MFR car that was on the outside in the sand. So I think there's a penalty coming from Morris, and Morris has got to try and get it going again. It's unfortunately for Kai Sloggett, just didn't do much wrong there.
And just as you were covering that, Dave, just having a look back, we were mentioning James Rewalt before. He is right on the hammer of Tim Mulford, who in turn is tucked right underneath the rear wing of Chris Kerr. And it appears that Chris Kerr has actually got potentially a black flag. I'm not sure if he's actually served that yet, so we may see him come in the pits. James Rewalt looks as though he's going to take that position away from Tim Mulford, although Mulford is fighting for it as much as he can. There on the outside, perhaps, and Rewalt's actually decided to pit. He's decided to take that pit stop, not try to battle these guys too much, and make up his time on a clear track, which is exactly what you want to do if you know you have a lap speed advantage over the cars in the back.
Yes, certainly. It's going to be a smart move there. So we'll, as I said, we'll keep an eye on the progress through this race, but I think that's his better option there. He's got a lot of cars that he'll pass in front of him. He might as well come in, take service, and he'll get a lot of clean track, and just get his head down and do consistent laps and see where he pops out at the end. We've got Tim Mulford on the screen now, actually, in the white, the newer updated edition. So it's a white and red Q-shift column. I like this combination. Looks good. So we're right on board with him. He's all over the back of Chris Kerr, who's in front of him at the moment. Looking to make a move, so he's right up behind him there under the rear wing. Almost read the part number.
Yeah, Tim Mulford earlier on, he was the one who was coming under pressure from Rewalt, wasn't he? But now, freed from that concern in his rear view mirror, he's free to have a big dive at Kerr. He's got a good run, hasn't he? I think Kerr might have made a bit of a mistake there, just trying to hold on around the outside, side-by-side action here at Barcelona. And Mulford's going to have to go nice and deep on the brakes in order to get this move done. He looks as though he's got to cover it off. Kerr looking to have a run back, but I don't think he's in a position to do it, and he's actually backed out that move.
It's always going to be hard to hold on there, so yeah, Mulford had the preferred line, I guess, on the racing lot there, tight for the other car on the inside. But back to Josh Morgan, he's now, he's still sitting in fifth, so he hasn't gone any further, but he's got his head down. His last lap was a 1:45.1, which is qualifying pace for the top 10 shootout. So he's in and around. He's got lap time going, so let's see if we can go any further forward. We've got Tony Clark coming up on the 126 there. Marty Hansen's.
Yeah, good battle brewing between these two the last couple of laps. Marty Hansen, Tony Clark. Marty Hansen holding on there. Tony Clark really applying the pressure. We're entering a phase now where the tyres will start to wear out a little bit. Drivers will be starting to think about whether or not they they make an undercut decision on their pit stops, as we saw from Ruwald earlier. Be interesting to see in these packs the likes of a Tony Clark maybe coming in early to try and get the undercut on the drivers ahead.
Yeah, so just showing the nose there to Marty Hansen then, but yeah, the undercut definitely works, and also the overcut. So if you do take the undercut, it's easy to wear out them tyres too quickly, and then you suffer at the end. So yeah, you can do the undercut, but you've got to be gentle on the tyres and bring it up to 10, and then look after the rest of the race. But you will get a benefit out of it.
Well, it's like Fernando Alonso always said, when you are the fastest car on track, every strategy works. So if you've got pace, it doesn't matter if you do the overcut, the undercut. It's clear track that makes a difference for you, and you need to be
Josh Thomas.
that pace that you've got. So yeah, that's why Josh Thomas is having such a nice run of things, and also for Ruwalt, who's got so much pace in that car, potentially just unable to use it in the pack that he was in. Diving into the pits, now he's going to have the opportunity to lap in clean air. But we were talking earlier on about Tony Clark in there behind Marty Hansen. Marty Hansen's just sort of homing in on the back of Aaron Gilbert now as well. So there's a nice little battle pack just there beginning to form. Because Darren Caldwell just up the road from him. And we've actually seen this season some different form from Caldwell. Some tracks he runs really, really well, and other tracks he sort of struggles at. At the moment, he's sitting in P10, so a fairly solid first outing for him at Barcelona. We'll be able to see if he manages to make the right strategy calls and bring that G-Shifters Commodore home inside the top 10. I'm sure he's going to be aiming to do that, but there are a lot of drivers behind him who want to take that away.
Jamie Davis in 4th position is under immense pressure now from Josh Morgan as Josh lights up the rear end. Coming out of the corner, he's putting the pressure on. I think he's going to lose a position now. He's got to defend against Brodie Scott. I was just talking him up, commentator's curse again. Josh Morgan looked like he was ready to make a move, and he's just lit up those rear tyres a little bit too excited to try and make a move. Now he's got to fend off the likes of Brodie Scott. Unlucky there from Josh. Really quick driver, just a few errors creeping into his race, holding him back from those top 3 or 4 positions.
Oh, he's right up there. He's might have even given a nudge off the exit there.
Oh!
A bit of stuff over steer as well.
His rear tyres are really struggling. I think he might have overheated him. Now Brodie Scott's all over him. Fantastic racing.
Yeah, it is. It's good racing, definitely. See, he's got to try and get a good run out of here, Brodie. Oh, actually,
wide.
He's off.
Oh, he's in big trouble.
He's in the fence.
Is he good? No, he hasn't.
Oh, he held
gathered it up. He's gathered it up, but it's not as bad as it could have been. That it's dropped some spots just wide, and they go 3 wide going past. Because Chris Kerr's got his own little battle going on with Thomas Cool there. Thomas Cool on the inside, trying to take that position away. He's going 2 for the price of 1 there, taking advantage from Josh Morgan's incident there, and has managed to clear Kerr also. So he's done pretty well out of that. And just while we were watching all that take place, Simon Chadwick has dived into the lane as well to take his stop. So some strategy just started to play into it a little bit now as well.
If you're Josh Morgan, you're probably thinking about pitting. It looks like he's really got the temperature of the tyres, even though he's making some gains there. If I'm in Josh's boots, I'm probably thinking about coming in and getting a fresh set on and trying to minimise the damage.
Yeah, I think he's going to be, if we had an infrared gun on those rear tyres, we'd be blowing it up. Because I think they are way overheated at the minute. He's probably doing his best to cool them down. It doesn't look as though he wanted to pit just this early in the race, but given the traffic that he's in and the inherent pace that he's actually got, it might not be a bad move for him to actually jump into the pits right now. And it looks as though Samuel Kerr's actually just taken a 30-second penalty for an infringement out on track as well, so that's actually going to change the complexion of his race, certainly.
Jamie Davis, boys, started 11th, currently putting huge pressure on Tyson McAvoy. What a great drive so far from Jamie Davis, as he looks like he's handling the tyres to a plumb, and he seems to be getting quicker as the race wears on.
And P2 in the lane, P2 in the lane. Sorry, Michael White.
Racing has also stopped. I've been trying to sort of get that point out, but yeah, Racing has stopped in the recent couple of laps, so he's on his way back through. I was just trying to keep an eye on the times, and still very top level on the screen.
Davis!
Yeah, Tyson gets the move done to the apex, and will complete that pass. But yeah, so Josh has taken his Stop.
Oh!
Ooh.
I thought he was going to have a dig then, boys. I thought he was going to have a dig.
I don't know where to look. I'm looking at the timing screen and the screen.
Well, these two drivers have marked themselves out, haven't they, since the start of this season? You remember way back at round one, we were asking the question of which drivers were going to be the ones to mark themselves out as the drivers to watch in this series as the next generation coming through. And certainly these two guys, Jamie Davis and Tyson McAvoy, are in that conversation. They've done a stellar job so far in the series, and they're showing it again here with this tremendous battle they're putting on.
Jamie Davis is technically in the lead of the race currently, so he's going to lead. See now what Jamie thinks in terms of strategy, and we're at lap 13, 30 lap race. Does he go the overcut as Davey's talking about, or does he decide to come in? So the race is in his hands now with the lead, and he'll be starting to really think about it, even though he's got to fend off the likes of Tyson McAvoy. He'll be thinking really hard now about when he makes this pit stop.
He certainly will, because he's. You always remember that the pit stops are generally made because somebody wants clear air, but he's got clear air. He's got what he wants, but he's also got aging tyres, and he dives into the pit lane. McAvoy follows him, so it's going to be a battle of the pit crews here now. See which one of these drivers is able to stop on their marks most accurately, get the fastest pit stop possible. And we saw, didn't we, last week, a position swap in the pits. Heddershide managing to jump the driver that he was battling with at the time to actually come out ahead. So we're going to see if there's a positional change here as well. It's certainly possible, but certainly I imagine that Jamie Davis would want things to stay exactly the way they are.
Tyson McAvoy on the chemistry at the moment, and yeah, it's going to be fuel numbers as well. So there goes Scott now, and Tyson's in there for a lot longer, so he's taking a lot more fuel, I'd say, by the looks of that.
Yeah, Davis is away.
Davis, not Scott. Correction. So Jamie Davis made a great stop there.
He's actually got ahead of, I know Whiting was who he was battling with, so yeah, he's held position there against Michael Whiting, so good job there by Jamie Davis.
And Tony Gaffer is now inherited the lead with Josh Thomas only 2 seconds behind, he's already taken his stop, so Tony Gaffer still to stop, but we'll be enjoying the clear air while he's got it.
Well, it's nice to lead, isn't it? Regardless of the circumstances, it's nice to run a couple of laps in the lead. I think we can all safely say that Gaffer is not going to keep the lead, given the fact that the previous leader, having made his stop, is right behind him. But he's going to be enjoying the chance to run around. He's got a fantastic looking Penrite livery on that Commodore, and we're going to see when Gaffer decides to make his pit stop. Of course, there's going to be battles that he was involved in as well. So he's going to be looking to make a net gain the same way as everybody else. So it looks like we've got Tony Clark at the moment that we're on board with. And just he's having a bit of a battle, isn't he? With I think that's Jonathan Bennett behind him. He just got that back into that Mustang out. He's leaving space at the inside, which is what he has to do. It's exactly right. But of course, being the car in front, he's able to pick the line that he wants to use, and he's actually defended that turn successfully, coming under massive pressure from Jonathan Bennett at the moment.
So Tony Gaffer and Alex Cole pit, so they're the last two of the front bunch that have pitted, so they're basically splitting the race 50-50 right down the middle.
Sorry, we've got a driver off the circuit as well. And I believe that was John Schultz. So John Schultz has actually had a little bit of an off there. He's gathered it up, no further damage or anything like that. It's just a time loss for him. And he's going to be wanting to keep Tim Mulford behind him. Mulford's got, of course, the tyres which haven't been on the grass. Mulford's getting a good run off the turn right now and trying to push down the inside of Schultz there. It looks as though he's potentially got to get that move done. It's going to come down to a battle of the brakes. And Mulford actually gets that done down the inside, although he runs a little bit wide. Overcooked it just slightly, and there's a lot of switchbacking happening as that first section of Barcelona is well known for. And fantastic for the two of them to keep off each other. This position is far from decided right now.
Yeah, Schultz and Thomas Kuhl actually had a coming together there. It, might have something to answer for there. There's a bit of a coming together, and Kuhl spearing off the track, had to take the old school Formula One track to re-enter the circuit. So big coming together there with those two, and they're actually still together on track, so there might be a little bit more to play out with those two coming forward.
Cadwell's looking racy here. He's,
Sorry, how long
yeah,
was
on
that
the
penalty?
Mark here, and he actually went a lot deeper into that turn there, so we'll see if it's the same right now. But he's having a sniff.
But you're going to
I don't
argue
think
like a
there's
black
going to be a
flag
pass
is
too far away
completely.
here.
Well, I think Tony Clark's actually received a black flag for something as well, so I'm not sure that he's going
Sorry,
to want to be
race control
fighting too
66.
hard. And just while we have a look sort of further down the grid, Bailey Bell has actually retired from the race. So
Davis and Whiting in second place here. Whiting's going for a move for second spot into turn 1. Makes it really good move there from Michael Whiting.
78.
How close was that between the front and the rear of those two cars? But they've got it done, and they've great driving for the two of them. They've come out the other side of
Race
that
control,
clean.
not arguing it.
Davis
telling me
fighting. Yeah,
55
Davis not
seconds.
fighting too hard with that one. Probably doesn't quite have the pace of a Michael Whiting. He didn't really block or defend there, so fair enough by Davis. He's pretty happy to keep
control. I think
in behind Michael and see if he can bring home a podium.
Copy that.
Josh Thomas, who is now 15.5 seconds in the lead, is just running away with this one. I mean, it's really just a matter of navigating blue flags and traffic for Josh as we enter the halfway distance. He's racing beautifully, hasn't put a foot wrong, and enjoying a very comfortable lead.
It looks like Tyson McAvoy is actually coming under a bit of pressure from Chadwick in the DPR car. So Chadwick's sort of showing a nose, having a look here and there, but I think he's got a bit more speed.
Oh!
He goes in there deep, and pulls it up.
Wow.
And with a bit of help and a bit of avoidance from McAvoy, gets the job done.
Well,
And look who's coming on. Look who's coming onto the back, boys. You were talking about earlier. Somebody who pitted very early on. Ruwalt.
Wow.
Well, how many positions has he gained in the clean air?
I have no idea.
He was down in 20th position when he made his stop, wasn't he? He's come back out. We talked about the advantage of the clean air and having pace in that clean air, didn't we? And he's actually just come out. He's P7 now. What a recovery drive from Ruwalt.
Yeah, he's certainly he's a steerer. He's a good steerer. So it was always on the cards, just whether or not he played them right. But it looks like he has tonight. And at the moment, he's positive 3 positions from where he started. So. Yeah, he's still got a bit of work to do and see if he can hold on to them tyres, but the battle's going on in front is waging on. And it looks like Chadwick's actually got that job. Oh, sorry, he got it done at the heaven before, so it's actually McAvoy.
Ahead, 66,
Having a look at back at him. Things better off it there.
Okay, just hold, mate.
Time they get down to this hairpin, I think he's going to have room on his mirrors and having another look, having a sniff. So keep an eye on it and see how these boys fare.
I don't know what the 3-way version of a duel is. Maybe it's a true? I'm not sure, but either way, I think we're going to see that because these 3 drivers.
There's a dive here, the 35 car, sorry to speak over here.
No.
So we've got this Infinity car of Aaron Gilbert, I believe, having a big dive. That's Heddershield having a dive on Schultz, sorry. So Schultz is recovering as well. So Heddershield's going to be over and under here, and it's going to get a bit of drive. He's going to have a look down inside here. It's going to be hard if he does. I think he thinks better of it, and we'll look to drive out of this corner and try and get him through a sweeper up here. Well, he gets a much better drive, and he's going to have a look, and he's going to done on it. Oh, not quite. So yeah, it's all happening.
Car 43, go ahead.
Car in the banking area, actually, in the escape fence down there. So I'm not sure what the go is there. I just saw in the back of the screen.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Tim Crowley. Tim Crowley's actually just stopped. I can't see any damage on that car, but he's just essentially pulled over and stopped. It looks he may have some sort of looks like he had his pit limiter on. So there's certainly an issue with that Ford Mustang.
Car 78.
He might have been involved in a pretty heavy trawl. And
potentially.
Actually, I do notice, like, if these cars aren't, the engine's not running, the light also comes on, so you might have an engine problem there as well. Because when you stall it, the light in the back, I believe, flashes yellowy red sort of colour. But yeah, it's very interesting. So I'm not sure what the problem is there, but I think he's cleared out the way now.
Yeah, it certainly was flashing yellow. So if that's the signifier of a some sort of mechanical condition, the engine not running or some such, then that's definitely what has taken place there. And Josh Thomas just putting a lap on.
Yeah,
Is he putting a lap on? Yeah, he is putting a lap on Chris Kerr. Chris Kerr running off the track there. And yeah, another tour de force from Josh Thomas at the moment. 16 seconds to the good at the front of this field.
It's good to see Michael Whiting having a good night tonight, though, because he did have a bit of a rough round in that first one, I think, at Montreal. So he's had a solid night, up 3 positions from where he started. So in the top 10 shootout, qualified 5th, and currently running 2nd. So hopefully he can soldier on. He does have Jamie Davis behind him, but I think it's a bit of status quo at the moment. No one's sort of gaining or losing at the moment. Or as he slides the car, Davis slides it out of the turn down with the front straight. That's not going to do the tyres any good.
No, but he's had a great race, starting 11th and currently 3rd, moved up 8 positions. Other notable drives so far, Marty Hanson's from 22nd up to 10th. Tim Moulton 30th to 15th. So we've seen some big gains as well as some big losers. Those that have managed to keep out of the carnage have managed to make up a ton of positions throughout the race, which is good to see.
Yeah, it certainly is. And let's not forget, we've got David Coleman as well, who's come up from 24th to 11th. And I'm just kind of scrolling through the field at the moment to get a bit of an idea on what kind of battles are taking place. But Daniel Hederscheid, as we've talked about him a few times this race, and he's actually making his pit stop now. So I'm not sure if he's pitted already or not. It seems a bit of it is sort of half distance, so I guess it's the time. But yeah, a lot of drivers have actually pitted already. So you know, he's looks perhaps destined to fall back down. So
I think he was involved in that first lap incident, I should say, wasn't he? So
he's had a tough night. A couple of errors in his hot lap, and then being involved in that incident early on. So tough night for Daniel, but I'm sure he'll bounce back as the championship wears on. Looks like he's quite a quick driver.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at Kai Sloggett at the moment as well. He's coming under massive pressure from Alex Court. Alex Court, who had such a good round last time out at Silverstone, right up there, wasn't he? So he's back there at the moment. They're battling over 19th, 20th position. But Alex Court certainly applying the blowtorch as hard as he possibly can to the back of that middle finger racing car of Kai Sloggett. And we may be up for a change of position here very, very shortly, because it appears as though Court is just he's being very, very aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us send in under brakes any moment now. And Slogger's actually run wide. Slogger's run wide, so that position has been decided. Court's got it.
Sorry, can I be? Something happened to our race leader? It was my timing off here, because at the moment I'm showing. No, there he is. Sorry, he's just popped back up in the timing. He disappeared. And I thought, oh, I'm a bit worried because I saw him dropping, but yeah.
It was a slight issue. James Ruwalt battling Tyson McAvoy, ran wide at the final turn, was applying the blowtorch, but has now given up a 3-second lead, and I think he might be feeling the effects of coming in early with the tyres.
Well, Ruwalt's in the pits again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's
two-stop strategy. Here we go.
Yeah, two-stop strategy for him. He's got all the work to do again.
That's risky.
Yeah, look, I suppose he would have calculated it, perhaps as a plan B to if something happened earlier on. He's certainly not shy about taking the curves, is he? But either way, he's got to get those tyres up to temperature now. You can see him just soaring on the wheel a little bit to try and build the heat up in those tyres. And now he's going to get on his way. Be interested to see what position he actually comes around in once our timing resets. But
he'll be great for a safety car.
Yeah, he may well be, but that two-stop strategy for him. Well, he's got some passing to do, doesn't he?
Yeah, can you imagine if we get a late safety car? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the guys do. Actually, I don't know. Maybe we should just call a competition caution just to see what happens.
Yeah, have we got Craig on the line? Let's get him out there in the safety car.
DC race.
Oh, another one's coming in. Another one's Tyson McAvoy's coming in.
Yeah, it's interesting strategies at play here.
Yeah, okay, so we did have, of course, that they're not running the full-size fuel tank in this particular race. So they were running a smaller fuel tank, and so essentially there are going to be some fuel mileage issues coming into this as well. So it's not the number of laps you're used to seeing a V8 supercar running. They actually are running smaller fuel tanks today, just given give us throw a little bit more strategy into the mix as well. So I say that's probably what's actually taking place here, which probably means that we're going to see a couple of other drivers down the pit lane before this race is over. Perhaps everyone's going to have to come down again, and it's certainly going to throw a spanner in the works as far as everyone's strategies are concerned.
And then for that matter, how much fuel do you take tyres over? You got to take fuel, but how much? If it's only sort of a small splash, I'm not exactly sure the numbers, but you can save a lot of track time by not taking tyres. But then, is it worth the risk of staying out there on warm tyres, but also worn tyres?
Yeah, how much fuel does our race leader Josh Thomas have? I mean, he seems to just be continuing on. I thought he came in around the as he comes in, the race leader comes in. So there we go. I was hoping.
Well, answer that question, didn't he?
Perfect.
The answer to that question is not much fuel.
Oh, he's coming in not too for a 15-second or so lead, and he's locked the rears up coming in. So I think he just got it down the right speed.
That's what you don't want to do when you've got such a big lead, is get yourself a drive-through penalty for exceeding the pit lane speed limit, which Josh was right on the ragged edge there.
All right, so we're going to see what he manages in this pit stop, aren't we? But yeah, exactly right. You don't want to get yourself a silly penalty when you've got a lead like that. He's certainly going to be aware of what the driver in second place is doing, considering the driver in second place is his teammate. So I'm sure they're in communication. They're aware of what each other are going to be doing.
I think Paul Warwick should actually just put a move on Marty Hansen to move him up to 7th position currently, as Marty comes under a bit more pressure from the car behind at 74, which may be a lap down.
Yeah, might be a lap down.
Yeah, Chris Barnes is a lap down on the other two. So Marty Hansen, Paul Warwick in that battle for position.
Warwick's run wide.
Yeah, it's going to be close, isn't it? But he's got to be able to get on the throttle earlier running out there, isn't he? So he's managed to get off that turn quite well, and he's still got a fairly handy, all things considered, margin over Marty Hansen in it there behind him. But Hansen seemingly able to put the front of the car exactly where he wants it, whereas it appears that Warwick might just be a little bit more at the mercy of his tyres or at least the grip level on the circuit. So I'm not sure if this position is going to stay as it is. There's certainly a battle going on at the moment. Hansen goes right over that sausage curve there on the inside, trying to shorten off that turn as much as possible. He's got his eyes on, doesn't he? He really wants to try and take that 7th position away.
We've got Tim Montfort on screen here fighting with his teammate Wade Moggers. Thought he was going to have a dive there. We've seen a few people try it there, but it hasn't paid off yet. So I think he's done wiser there to back out of that. But there was another passing opportunity coming right up this left-hander. But the Mustang just gets the drive out there, so he holds on for now.
Yeah, and our broadcaster JP would be sweating bullets as he watches his two drivers battle it out here in Spain. I'm sure they'll be nice and clean. The purple JINX Super2 Mustang is quite nice. Didn't know that was there. Looking very cool. With Tim Mulford in the red and white Commodore.
And soon they'll be joined by Daniel Heddershot, who's also still on a drive back up that early incident.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough night, hasn't he? So he's certainly trying to make his way up past the two teammates there in front of him. How easy he's going to find it, I don't know. But certainly he's got the pace, doesn't he? So he's been fast and qualified right there up the front, so I'm sure he's got the pace to deal with these two in front of him.
I think Tim might be in a bit of strife here.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you're right.
Just had a bit of an issue with Josh just on screen on the inside of Ruwell. Just sort of pinched the curve and sort of bounced him awkwardly, but they've got away with it. So sorry to cut over you there, Matt.
No worries. His header shide comes up the inside, and Tim gives him all the room in the world, knowing that there's no need fighting that battle, which is a good move there by Tim, and he'll slot in behind Daniel and try and let Daniel pull him up onto the rear end of Tony Gaffer.
Yeah, potentially just having a look up third place car as it runs.
Oh, he's going to go around here. Sorry to cut over you there. He's just on screen and had a half spin. Nearly getting going again.
He's gathered it though, so I mean, really, he's kind of lost a bit, but you know, at the end of the day, it's not that much. bit of mistake from Grody, but the man who's made so little mistakes, really, since the start of this season has actually taken place. He's just coming under a little bit of threat there from Di Bottetto, who's just trying to run down his inside, but I think he's going to gather it up. He's got some good speed in that car. And look at the driver who's coming through behind him. It's Ruwald again. He's there in 14th position after making that second stop. He's he's getting after it, isn't he? He's lapping in his last lap, 144.479, and Brody's got in front of him 149.185 with that mistake. So certainly a pace difference between the two.
Been enjoying watching Ruwald strive this evening, driving really well. It's a shame for the errors that creeped into his night, because geez, he's got some pace and some beautiful lines out there, and we're going to see an interesting battle form here with only five or six laps remaining.
Well, it's something that we've actually seen from Worldwide. It's sort of characterised his season so far. He has massive potential and massive speed, but just the potential for little issues to creep in and derail him. He made a mistake in Canada, which threw away second place, unfortunately, and then has had great runs in the next couple of races. He's always got this inherent pace there, and that is the encouraging sign for him and Pace Syndicate Racing as well, is that he's got this inherent pace at any track that we go to, but he's just got to do his best to stay out of trouble and bring home those solid results, because he's certainly got the potential to be at the front every single race.
The Mark Webber of the championship.
I don't want to say that.
I'm not sure where that came, but he's tasted victory, so hungry for some more of it after last week. So we've got Alex Court on screen at the moment as we jump back to James Ruwald, who is looking to make trying to gain on Scott here. So interesting to see if he can march forward a little bit further than what he is. So as I said, a good recovery drive. I don't know. He's, as I said last week, he had the victory, tasted the champagne, so he won't be too happy about it, but as long as he can sort of keep it on the track and get the points down and live to fight another day.
Yeah, both of these guys pretty well out of position, really, in the grand scheme of things, aren't they? Brodie Scott and James Ruwald, two of the guys that we're used to seeing right up the pointy end of the field. Right now, running 7th and 8th. So almost if they work together, you'd imagine that they can sort of move forward. But they're running out of time. We're on lap 25 now of 30. So these guys really need to get a move on. Do they want to waste time fighting each other? Or do they want to try and make an impression on Chadwick, McAvoy, Court, etc. in front of them?
Interestingly, out of that stop, Jamie Davis has jumped Michael Whiting in those stops. So whether or not he took on a little bit more fuel at that that first stop, with then less fuel in the second stop, but he's definitely gained the position there of Michael Whiting and sitting in second spot with a 2-second lead buffer over Michael Whiting. So good there.
Sorry to cut you off, and just watching Daniel Hedershide just make a move on Alex Court there. Alex Court looks as though he's just firing back down the inside. Hedershide not able to get that job done at the moment, and of course he's coming under pressure on Tim Mulford as well. So they're fighting down there at the back end of the top sort of 15. But these guys fighting like Salas. Nearly into the back of Hedershide. He has done, for the mistake that he made, he has done the perfect job there. He has done the perfect job. He did not get into the back of Hedershide. He's gathered it up. Yes, he's lost space to his teammate, but at the end of the day, far better to do that than to drive into the back of Hedershide, turn him around and get a penalty. It would cost him so much more.
Well, you're exactly right. It was a good save there by Tim, and he also had the potential of not only hitting Hedershide, but putting Hedershide into his own teammate as well. So great save there by Tim.
Sorry, boys, I don't know if it's a timing glitch again, but Josh Thomas is dropping down the order here. He's 12th.
No, Thomas is fine.
He is fine? Okay, I don't know.
I think he's fine.
He looks fine. He's telling me someone's just passed him. So, but someone who has passed is Tyson. Did get back in front of Chadwick. Chadwick's on the outside of him here up in the turn.
Caught Hedershide. Court making big defensive moves for Hedershide up the inside. Court's going to hold on to it. He wants this position. He's not going to give it to Hedershide easy. He's going to have to try and dig in deep for the next 4 to 5 laps. Great driving there by Alex Court.
Fighting over P16, but it's not
P16, right outside.
It's fantastic. Big, look at that big up the inside. Mega defensive move by Court.
Of course, that makes your exit, doesn't it? You know, the way that you enter the corner really defines the way you exit that. So, Court having those really defensive lines is going to affect his speed. Yeah, Court's gone off. Court's run wide.
The track,
and, well, that's the position, isn't it? That's over and done.
That's a shame.
And Tyson McAvoy, Simon Chadwick battling away there. They're battling over 4th place. Simon Chadwick's actually had a really good run.
He's gone around!
He's gone.
Tyson's gone around! Did he get it gathered back up there? Because they were both sideways out of there. So,
might even have a slowdown from that too, but Chadwick's got that position. I was just about to say how good it is to see Chadwick having a good run. He's been really strong tonight. He's up there now. He's taken 4th place. But yeah, McAvoy dropping right down the order there with that mistake.
It's such a good race. And he just lost it on the green tarmac, and lucky that Chadwick didn't collect him.
Yeah, well, they were both sideways off the exit of that turn, and yeah, he's very easy, especially this late in the race. So unfortunate for McAvoy there.
So he's regrouped. He's back in 8th position now. He's in there behind Josh Morgan. He just had a little bit of a dive at him and actually locked the rears. There was smoke coming off the rear tyres as he's come down there into turn 1. But it appears though he's gathered himself up. He's going to need to cool those rear tyres off. And as he doesn't do that, he drifts into the next turn. But he's going to cool those off because he's got to find himself with absolutely no traction whatsoever.
Head shield battle, sorry. Head shield's going very defensive now. Same thing that Court did last lap. So Court's trying to put the pressure on here to try and get back. He's going to get on the outside here. Head shield runs down the middle of the road defensive. So Court's on the outside. See if we can get the switch back in. We're going to run, but he won't make a pass yet. But look for a pass down maybe into the next hairpin after the sweeper to the right up here.
Yeah, it looks like they're both struggling with their rear tyres. Both cars popping right out sideways there, weren't they? It's almost like Barcelona drift at the moment with these two as well. Just popping into the corner, rear end wagging again. So certainly on this circuit, the rear tyres definitely starting to feel the heat of the action that we've seen out there tonight.
A big call on the radio that said car 20 out. I'm not sure who that is, but he has been disqualified from
Jason DiPotetto. Jason DiPotetto has
there you go. He's been DQ'd. I think
it might have been an issue with blue flags.
Yeah, blue flag issue, definitely, mate.
Very racy, considers a lap down, but you know it's one of those things. But when you've got pace, you feel like you can overtake those that are a lap ahead and try and get your lap back or some positions back. But obviously, when you get that amount of blue flags, you're probably going to feel the wrath of the race control.
And we've got teammate on teammate here as well, just behind.
Just saw that in the background there,
battle. Yeah, we've got Mulford and Aaron Gilbert going after each other now. Of course, those two aren't going to want to touch, being teammates. But certainly a bit of a battle on here. It's a battle for one of the lower positions, 17th, 18th there, trying to settle that between the two of them. And they're certainly not going to want to come together. If there's one thing that the team boss there hates more than chrome wheels, it's teammates getting into one another. And
there's a car around in front of these guys here.
There is actually. And we've got a car on its pit lane limiter on. Mark Duggan.
It's all gone wrong for him.
What has happened there?
Oh, wow.
Because Mark Duggan's there. He's had a spin. He's actually had a spin with...
Oh, there's more going on, yeah.
There is more going on. He's had a spin with Chris Barnes.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
And they've got going again. And for some reason that Duggan has actually, after they've kind of untangled themselves, they got going. Duggan's driven along with his pit lane limiter on for a while. And seemingly not wanting to gain advantage from the incident, Chris Barnes has stayed behind him. That's I don't even know what to make of that.
I'd say he's got arms and legs going everywhere, and he's
yeah. No, I'm out.
That's an odd one.
So we're right on board with Josh Thomas, your race leader at the moment, and working the penultimate lap. The white. He's had a pretty stress-free run tonight, as he's had the car pace and been out front. White's the flag, you'd almost say, if there's no issues in the next lap or so.
Yeah, I mean, he had a little battle and a little bit of a dodgy battle. The only issue that he's had to deal with this race, beyond sort of the first lap in the safety car, he's had the entire track to himself. And
me giving everyone a scare, saying that he's going down the timing order.
But he's, you know, to give the other driver track credit, I've been watching him, and everybody that has been receiving blue flags for him has generally given him room, which is good to see, and he's enjoyed a great race out in front. And without jinxing him too much, he's a deserved race winner this evening with a lap to go.
If he pulls it off, that's
right.
If because
Where's that?
You know, he's just come up behind John Schultz, and that's the second time now that I've seen John Schultz pretty much drive completely off the track to give way to cars actually lapping him. So I'm not sure quite about that, but either way, he's been very courteous to our race leader, who is now on his final lap. And if he brings it home, this is really, we did ask at the top of the season, didn't we, which driver was going to mark themselves out, was going to set themselves apart as the driver who was going to be the next one to watch, the one who's coming along as the next threat for Scots, for Australian Online Supercars, all of those guys. And it is, so far, you would have to say that Josh Thomas is the one who has marked himself as the head of the class.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean,
got the pace out there. He's time sheets as we saw in that top 10 shootout. So yeah, he's
sorry, that's a great.
And as per last week, we've got a bit of a battle going on for second place on this final lap here. We've actually got Jamie Davis defending hard from Michael Whiting, who was, I believe, the first retirement there in Silverstone, but no such points for Whiting today. But we're all over one another. With Josh Thomas rounding rounding the last couple of turns now. He's going to take the victory. Just a quick dab of the brakes there to make sure he can get that nose in. No mistakes for him now, and he is going to weave across that straight as taking the checkered flag as the deserving winner of this one. Second place still very much under dispute, but it looks as though Jamie Davis may have just enough gap to hold on to that one as they round the last couple of corners. Jamie Davis, Michael Whiting got to be rounding out your podium in the absence of any kind of calamity for the pair of them. But yeah, they run across the line together, and very, very well-deserved podium getters, those two.
Yeah, Michael Whiting had a little bit of a dig at Jamie Davis in the third. Put up the nose up the inside, the gap closed, and I thought Whiting was about to spin. He did a half spin of it, regathered, and it crosses the line.
We've got a car on its roof.
Okay.
Sorry, we've got a car on its roof. Chris Kerr coming across the start-finish line, and he's come across the line. He's slowed down, and what's happened there? The 111 has driven into the side of him, turning him into the pit wall, and he's rolled.
Here's the replay. Oh, there. Here we go. Yeah, it's very strange. After the line, I don't know whether that's there's a bit more in that. Maybe in the race, possibly.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of retribution for something there. From
something.
That's and Chris Kerr is in hospital.
Well, he showed him, didn't he? Like,
was it his brother?
Okay, well maybe it's just a bit of friendly banter there, but a hell of a way to be a good mate to your brother, sending him over on his roof.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit of a friendly nudge over the line, I think. Yeah, bit of brotherly love.
Away from,
you don't see that with
Rick Kelly, Victory Donuts. Just saw him celebrating earlier, so just on the cool down lap. So we'll see the boys shortly. We'll get them into for an interview. But yeah, once again, congratulations to Josh on a fantastic drive.
Okay, so just while we're waiting for all the drivers to come into the area here, so we can actually have a chat with them, we might actually answer our track trivia question. If you remember, it was what was particularly remarkable about the first place for Damon Hill in this particular Spanish Grand Prix held at this circuit in 1994, and the second place of Michael Schumacher. Well, the victory for Damon Hill was the first victory for the Williams team since the death of Ayrton Senna He was also the first
There was a
victory
post
for the
put up on
Williams team
Facebook.
in that
If you
particular
have all
season,
your pit stops,
and
the tyres
set
and
Damon
fuel
on the
switched on,
path
it'll
to
give you
taking the
extra
championship
time.
fight
You were
right
told
down
when
to
you
the
get a
final
penalty to switch
round.
everything off,
And
you'll
of
get the
course,
30-second
it
penalty.
was Michael
Is it something to do with
Schumacher
the
coming
gearbox?
home. Coming home, it was something to do with the gearbox. Michael
Yeah,
Schumacher
no,
coming home in second
flashback.
place,
Take photos,
and he
show you
did
what
so
I gave
while
out,
stuck
everything I
in
gave out
fifth
for 30-second
gear,
penalties.
and drove the car through to a very
only do what I
well-deserved
can
second
do.
place. Quite a remarkable
Copy, that
drive
makes sense.
from the man who was going to turn out to be, and we didn't know it at that time, but he was going to turn out to be one of the greatest of all time, Michael Schumacher. So
Jonathan, mate.
that's what the answers
Come on
were.
back,
So
mate.
how did you go? Did you get it
Yeah.
right? But certainly a remarkable Grand Prix here in 1994 for a number of different reasons.
Yeah, I think
So
you covered it.
what did you make of that? Just while we're waiting, guys, for the
Yeah, mate,
winners
your tyres are going
and
off
the
one,
place
only
getters
just
to
coming on,
come
but that's
into
alright.
the
I had
green
one
room there
input
for us to have a
point
chat
left, so I
with.
didn't really want to risk
Right
What
it.
did
now
you
we've
make
got
of that race?
Sorry, right now we've got Scott McCoon who's on his cool down lap, who looks like he's run out of fuel because that engine ain't running and he's not going very fast at all. So it could be a post race penalty coming there. There's a required to do a cool down lap, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's under power there, does he?
No, certainly not.
Although, where exactly is he on the track? Is he on the start and finish straight yet?
No, I think he's coming
No,
down.
he's nowhere near. He's done.
Yep,
He's
copy
done.
that.
He's not getting a cool down lap out of that, is he?
Drivers,
No.
Well, no, he's on 31. He's on lap 31. So
appreciate it.
if he completes this lap, if he gets down to the pit lane, which you would
just
have
got
to
a
say is
query
pretty well
about
impossible.
me starting 10th.
No, he's parking it up. So
I'm just
no,
got a
he's
query.
not going to make that cool down lap, and he was 23rd anyway. So
You're
no
gonna have
harm,
to
no
put in
foul really
a
for him.
protest with JP. He
But
said
yeah,
that's the third
a race that
lane. I have no
would
control
be
over that.
full of carnage, and it was the early laps.
No problem at all,
My
thanks so much.
first race here, I didn't even know where to look. There were cars being turned
Light
around left,
control,
right, and
car
centre.
77.
A lot of penalties. In terms of the
Car
lead,
7,
Josh
hold
Thomas
1
just,
second.
I don't know what I'm going to
03,
ask him in the
I'll
race
have to get
debrief.
you to do the same,
'Cause he had a
mate.
pretty boring
yeah,
race,
so lap
really, even though
14,
he
we'll
would
look at
enjoy
it
the victory.
post-race. Thank you.
But a really
Car
cool
77,
battle
go
with
ahead.
Jamie Davis and Michael Whiting in second
Permission
and
to
third.
escape
So
pits, please.
it's good to be here tonight, boys. It was a great race. I've enjoyed. But
Car
yeah, a lot
77, no
of
problem.
carnage and a lot of action, which we predicted.
Thank you, and thanks for
All
hosting.
right, so we do have our top three down there in the green room now, patiently waiting for a chat with us. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab in Joshua Thomas, have a bit of chat to him about his victory before we go on to the other two. So we'll just grab Josh in here right now. And Joshua Thomas, first place again. You seem to be marking yourself out after a fairly, I think you would admit, dodgy round at Silverstone. Great way to actually bounce back here in Barcelona.
You know how it goes.
You got me, boys?
I certainly do.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah. Last week, Silverstone was an absolute shocker, but good to bounce back this week. And yeah, not much to say really. It was pretty good.
Well, I'll say something for you. 24-second lead after 30 laps.
What was that? Sorry.
24-second victory after a 30-lap race. Really seemed to be in all things being considered, to be in a league of your own, especially around here. So, seemed fairly straightforward for you. Was it as straightforward as it appeared to all of us at home?
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward, just with the whole strategy thing. But we got the correct fuel and put a bit extra in for that last stint just to make sure we got home. So it was yeah, it wasn't too difficult, which was nice. So yeah.
Hey, Josh. Sorry, I've just got to ask one question, Josh. How close were you to receiving a speeding in pit lane penalty on your second stop, mate? Looked like you were right on the limits.
Yeah, all four wheels locked and nearly facing the other way, but we pulled it up.
Race control 77.
Well done, mate. That's good to hear.
Go ahead, mate.
All right, brilliant stuff. Well, just before you let you go, Josh,
Yeah, just looking at the
anyone
start,
you would like to
I
give a
got
shout out
hit
to?
the backside.
Again,
Is
to
that
all the
worth having
Fishy
a look
boys
at it?
and
I was at the back
all
of
the
the
Fishy
pack,
Motorsport
but yeah,
sponsors.
anyway.
They've been awesome, and yeah, I'll look forward to next round.
We won't
so
be looking
I'll
at
see
the
you
start
then.
now. If you want to put
All
in
right,
the process
fantastic.
form,
Well, your winner once again, Josh
we can
Thomas
do it
there,
during the
guys.
week.
So fantastic
But,
race
11
from
o'clock
him.
here and I'm gonna
And
be
what
working still.
we might do now is we might bring up our second place getter, Jamie Davis, very,
good,
very
thanks,
tight
cheers,
there at the
mate.
end with Michael Whiting. So I might,
Thanks, buddy. But,
Dave,
like
let
I
you
said,
do
put
the
in the
honours
process
for
form,
Jamie
man, we'll
Davis
look
up
at it.
P2
Doesn't
getter.
matter if you start at the front or the back. The rules are the rules.
Jamie, welcome to the booth, mate. Pretty eventful night there. Nice battle towards the end, mate.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that race. Yeah, I short fueled myself in that last stop, so I was trying to save a lap and a half of fuel and was just watching Michael come and thought, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, well, definitely make it interesting, mate. But you survived at least, so yeah, it's pretty close. But how was your strategy? I know we saw you guys having to pit twice tonight, as there's a 40% cap on fuel, I believe. So it was a bit of a surprise to us. But how did your strategy work out for you, mate?
Yeah, no, during the safety car, I just clutched it everywhere to use as least amount of fuel as possible. So it took me long, and then I just kind of sort of worked out the last two stints. But I got a bit eager on the button to drop the car in that last.
Yeah, right. Well, apart from the last lap, they're pretty good run for yourself there in P2. Nice and tight finish across the line, so well done for that. But before we let you go, any shout outs, any sponsors, mate?
Yeah, love the shout out to Dripping Paint Graphics. Awesome paintwork, guys. Glad we got to show it off this week. And then, yeah, JP, everyone in race control puts the series on, makes it work, and friends and family at home.
Yeah, good work, mate. Well done on P2 there, Jamie Davis.
Thank you.
All right, so final interview of the night. We're going to speak to Michael Whiting, who was there in third. Oh, so close to second place, wasn't he? And after having a bit of a rough night out at Silverstone last time, is going to come home with a very well-deserved P3. And Matt, I might let you do the honours. Speaking to our third place getter, Mr. Whiting.
Michael, Matt here, mate. Great race. Can you talk me through what happened with you and Jamie? Because it seemed like you were toing and froing, and it seemed out of that second pit stop that you seemed to lose that second position. Just talk us through what happened there.
Yeah, so I think I put a little bit too much fuel in the car. Just wanted to make sure I could make it to the end. It was pushing pretty hard. Tyres felt really good on the second stint. Track sort of come to us a bit. We're able to catch him towards the end of the stint, which was good. Just didn't quite have enough pace. Another lap, and I reckon I would have had it. So, yeah, good race though. Happy with the result.
Yeah, I noticed on the penultimate corner you had a little dig at Jamie and got a little bit sideways. Were you a bit nervous there that you might lose the car? It looked like it was pretty close.
Yeah, I was probably a bit more nervous as to taking Jamie out. It's not something I really want to do, to be honest. So,
yeah.
But it was a good race. Pushing hard. Tyres were toast by the end of the stint, unfortunately. But nevertheless, P3. Happy.
No, great job, Michael. And before we let you go, mate, a fantastic job. And is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to all the guys on the team, our sponsors, Infinity, Ignite Designs, and Van Diemen Clothing, for all the support for this season and seasons.
Yeah, great job, Michael. Really well done, mate. Looking forward to seeing you continue to get a few more podiums as the championship wears on. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
All right, so that was.
Sorry, Evan, just before we go on, quick shout out also to James Ruott, who ended up P6 after all that. So lap 8, 20th, and he got back to 6 in the end.
Yeah, so I was going to basically just run through our full finishing order for everyone there, so they can actually tell where their favourite driver finished up. So Joshua Thomas, of course, are victor tonight. Jamie Davis and Michael Whiting, oh so close for that second place, finishing second and third. Simon Chadwick, great result for him, coming home in fourth after a very strong qualifying. Brodie Scott, fifth position. James Ruwalt, as Dave just mentioned, up there in P6. Josh Morgan, seventh. Tyson McAvoy, we saw him involved all night, didn't we? He has come home in eighth position. Darren Caldwell and Jonathan Ben, ninth and 10th. Then Thomas Cool and Marty Hansen going back to David Coleman and Tony Gaffett in 14th. Alex Court, Aaron Gilbert, Tim Mulford, and Daniel Hederscheid coming home in 18th in the end. And then we've got Michael Stewart in 19th, Joseph Daly 20th, Paul Warwick 21st, then Wade Michaels, Scott McCune, we saw out of fuel on the very last cool-down lap. And Kai Sloggett, Ben Morris, they round out your finishers on the lead lap. And then going back to our lapped runners now, we've got Alexander Newton, Matthew Kidd, Chris Kerr, Mark Duggan, Samuel Kerr, and John Schultz. Then we've got Chris Barnes and Tim Crowley. 3 laps down, then Jason DiPotato, who was unfortunately disqualified towards the end of the race. He's going to be back there in 34th position. And then we've got Tony Clark, Stephen Black, and Bailey Bell. And I believe that none of those drivers, unfortunately, managed to finish the proceedings tonight. But all in all, another fantastic race with action up and down the field. Final thoughts, guys? What'd you make of it?
Certainly was a good race. We're just having a look at the championship points now up on screen for you guys. we see James Rulewell on 1,151 points ahead of Jamie Davis, who's only 8 points behind, and Josh Morgan in third there. But tonight the racing was thick and fast, and yeah, it was exciting. As you said, it was a bit of a longer race, 30 laps, but yeah, well done to Josh and the rest of the guys on the podium, and yeah, we'll see the guys next week.
Yeah, interesting race. Really appreciate it. Thanks, JP, for putting on. Thank you guys for your commentary this evening. And the amount of people that put this on is quite amazing. All the race stewards and safety car drivers, which is fantastic. One note, I'm just interested in looking through the field just quickly. My final thoughts. Bailey Bell qualified second place, was given a penalty 24 laps down. So I'm not quite sure what happened after his penalty, whether he decided to pull up or not. But a disappointing night there for Bailey. But yeah, great to be along here for the first night tonight, boys. Really enjoyed it and looking forward to watching some more as the season wears on.
All right, well, absolutely fantastic. So that's all from us tonight. Another fantastic night of racing. Next week with another round of this fantastic series. It's really delivered for us so far. But from myself, Edward Foster, Dave Douglas, Matt Andrews, and of course our faithful director there, JP Korea. Thank you very much for joining us here on SimShed Broadcasting, and we will see you next time. Good night.